So you may have noticed that with this marker view enabled, I have the ability to click here to add markers on the timeline, but also on these clips. So what I could do is I could say, oh, there's this one part here where I need to listen to this and make sure that I said the right thing. So I can give myself a note maybe and say, double check this, or, validate that what I said was right. So I can say validate this section. And so now this marker is just on that clip. So let's say something changes. Let's say, for example, I go in here and I put a split. Let's say I do a Control-Shift-S and split all the way down, and then I say, all right, well, let me, just cut this part out here, and I'll cut this part out here, and I'll just drag these, and I'll just move everything down this way. Well, now notice what happened. When I moved things down, these timeline markers stayed at those locations. I say, oh, that's not actually where I want them to be. Like this one should be over here. I need to move it. Well, I can grab it and I can move it to where it needs to be. And I can grab this and move it to where it needs to be. Now, if I just undo those few changes, another way that I can kind of fix that is if I just highlight and delete that time on the timeline. So if I say, well, let's just grab this section here and I will cut this section, no problem. Those move too because I cut out a whole section of the timeline. But if you are moving things that are track specific, then these timeline markers aren't going to move. But if I have this section here on this track, and then I go in here and I say, oh, well, you know what, let me split this, and then I'll just trim this down and now move this, you can see that the marker moves with the clip because it's a part of the clip, as opposed to these other markers that are outside. So if you need a marker specific to a location on one clip, put that marker on the clip. If it's specific to the timeline, go ahead and add it to the timeline.